the water has changed again. What started out as a few things peeking out of the water has led to a much bigger update with an immense amount of new things that have been added, removed, and revealed in Fortnite. If you aren't subscribed, you're gonna wanna be. Things are heating up, you want to know all of this. But enough of that, no nonsense, let's get right into main POI changes. Starting with the most notable map change this time around is the grand reopening of Risky Reels. This place has come and gone so many times throughout the years, and it always somehow seems to make its way back. From being destroyed by the block to being decimated by the walls of water collapsing, it always comes back despite no one paying to get in. Seriously, how do they stay in business? As you can see, Risky Reels seems to be mostly intact, aside from a ton of wreckage from where cars were destroyed and some seaweed on the projector screen. Some cars are glitched into the ground and other objects are floating, so this may not be its final form. Other than that, all the chests and weapon spawns are back, so feel free to jump into the game right now and roam Risky to your heart's content. You probably won't be able to get as many mats from cars anymore, but I expect it to be a decent drop nonetheless. It's also important to note that right outside of Risky, there's a triple chest spawn that was removed at the start of Season 3 that has now returned, which makes Risky an even more viable landing spot. One secret that many people haven't realized is the fact that multiple of the trucks in Risky are golden. There's a great possibility that this could be a reference to Midas and his golden touch ability. It's not just one, but multiple new golden vehicles, so it's either a really odd coincidence or it's Epic Games' way of telling us that they aren't quite done with Midas. Honestly, my take is that it's a coincidence, but let me know what you think in the comments. Risky Reels isn't the only POI that got some major changes either, though. Sweaty Sands has actually removed all of its surrounding islands, giving it a much cleaner look. These islands did have tons of loot and pallets to farm, though, so it's kind of sad to see them go. Alongside the removal of these islands, it seems the windmills and zip lines have disappeared as well. The zip lines were great for some early game action. The crash pads are still everywhere around Sweaty, so we still have plenty of options when going for plays. Craggy Cliffs was also pretty heavily affected by the new water levels, revealing loads of new loot options. Before the most recent water level change, Craggy had next to no loot, and it really became a poor landing option in Season 3. But luckily, Craggy's main building is now fully lootable, and multiple houses around it have roofs with additional chests. Another amazing feature now at Craggy is that the reboot fan is no longer submerged underwater, and you can easily access it by swimming right up to it. We showed you guys a pretty cool trick that let you use the reboot vans underwater, but it had a super long setup and, quite frankly, was a little bit dangerous, so I'm definitely excited to be able to use these things normally again. Dirty Docks was affected similarly to the way that Craggy Cliffs was, but there's still not much to choose from. The big building in the back is now lootable with chests and ammo crates. A few of the surrounding buildings also have roofs with weapon spawns inside, but Dirty Docks is still pretty bleak as a drop spot. While we're talking about spots that aren't quite stacked enough to land at, we also have to mention the Shark. The Shark was barely affected by the new water levels, but there is one new chest spawn, so it can work as a super safe drop if you also loot the islands around it. I'm hoping to see the Shark reveal its new layout as the water levels continue to drain, but based on how submerged it is, it'll probably be a few weeks before we see that. So that wraps up the new changes to major POIs, but the new tide actually removed a couple areas from the island, so let's go over the Lost Islands. As the water has drained, the four most southern islands over at Rickety Rig, which made up a large portion of the POI, have unfortunately completely disappeared. Close to Rickety Rig, more and more of the remains of Slurpy Swamp are starting to appear gradually. It'll be a few more drain cycles before Slurpy Swamp is revealed entirely, but we're getting closer and closer by the day, and massive sections of the map are changing. On the east side of Pleasant Park, there were two islands, one small and one large. The large island has now vanished, and only the smaller of the two remain. Although I do wish Epic had made it the other way around, since the big island had multiple houses and tons of chests, and the little one has, well, practically nothing. It seems like we'll continue to see some islands disappear throughout the season, while others will gradually shift to form new POIs. But now that we've covered all of the major map changes, let's head into other secrets. The new mascot of Season 3, Urinal Knight, has finally been uncovered. While he has been underwater since the start of Season 3, the water draining has revealed him to the world, and now he's likely ready to begin his journey. Unless he ends up like Truckosaurus, laying defeated at the bottom of the ocean. But I sure hope not. Another great thing to keep your eye on is the little civilization on the small island at the top right corner of the map. Since the last update, Epic added an island that you can visit and interact with a group of tiny blue coral people. Basically, if you had 100 wood on you, the game would actually let you donate the materials to their camp, and they would use that to build the little wooden village. We went ahead and checked on these tiny guys after this update, and unfortunately, you can't do anything new with them as of now. But if you haven't given them 100 wood yet, make sure to do so because you'll actually be given a secret achievement named From the Primordial Ooze. It's definitely possible we'll be coming back to these guys throughout the season to help their civilization some more, and I'm guessing next update we'll have to give them brick or something so that they can keep upgrading their little colony. Another area that we continually check up on is the pallet and chair building that's currently under construction. Since Season 2, we've had a story of the chair and pallet trucks being caught up in the accident. After colliding, the chairs and pallets from the trucks spilled out and fell down the edge of the cliff. Since then, over time, a construction company has actually made use of the wreckage and is building a new location in the area. This has been updated a few times since the accident first happened, but this time around, it seems that there aren't any new changes. But who knows what it'll end up being. It's likely going to either be a house or some kind of hut with chests and ammo. All we know is that progress is happening, and it's becoming more and more complete almost every time we come back to take a look at it. Over at the Trash Island, we have a pretty cool little Easter egg that involves an unreleased skin. The chest that you can find around the map with arms and legs actually belong to a skin, which is coming out in the item shop very soon. Use code T5T, baby! You can find the full skin buried in a landfill on Trash Island if you want to check it out. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, how do you know it's going to be a skin? Well, one of the loading screens in the Battle Pass shows the upcoming Bryce 3000 skin in a car with this exact crash test dummy we've been seeing everywhere. When will this skin come out? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, but hopefully it'll come out with the next patch in a couple weeks. While swimming around in the new water levels, we noticed that there were a ton of telephone poles that were just barely sticking out of the water. And while these telephone poles aren't a new addition to Fortnite, they do give us some guidance as to where roads will be for when the car update arrives. With most of the map being submerged in water, it can be hard to remember where all the roads are and where they lead to. So, noticing where these telephone poles are now can definitely help you get familiar with routes before cars are added to the game. All that's left now is to show you guys all the little other drops that you can land at, now that the water levels have gone down some. The first spot is the mansion behind Holly Hedges. That's located in the A4 quadrant of the map. This mansion's bottom half was submerged underwater, but is now completely available to loot and is a pretty decent solo drop spot. The Slurp Factory that's in the middle of the water next to Rickety Rig is also a brand new spot that you can now land at. Previously being unable to access due to water, it's now drained just enough for us to enter through the door. Now, what makes this spot really good is that it even has slurp barrels for guaranteed shield off spawn every game. A little ways down the river, Green Roof Neighborhood can now be looted and actually has some amazing stuff to offer. Not only can you loot the second level and the roofs of these houses now, but you can also access the respawn van without having to go underwater, just like at Craggy. One of these houses also has an upgrade bench inside, so it's definitely a well-rounded spot to keep an eye on. Camp Cod is in a similar situation to the Green Roof Neighborhood because it's only partially revealed. Last week, the main house was half submerged under the water, and there was very little to loot, but now the entire house is on land and the surrounding area has a few chests. We even have some images as to what Camp Cod will look like when the water completely drains, and it seems like this spot will only continually get better and better throughout the season. Over at Frenzy Farms, we have a couple new changes. The gas station that was fully submerged under the water is now on solid ground and ready to be used. Epic has been adding fueling stations around the map in preparation for the vehicle update, so it makes total sense for them to uncover this one. Over at Frenzy's Boat Dock, there was also a new shack added with 2 tractors and a chest to buff the area just a bit. Another place Epic buffed just a little is the gas station at the bridge in between Craggy and Pleasant, which is no longer underwater, and has a couple extra chest spawns. The large boat that's parked outside of the Rickety Rig has moved once again, this time right next to the Slurp Factory, and it's facing east. This boat seems to move locations every other week, so we thought we'd keep you guys in the know in case you ever lose it. Now, if you guys want to continue to be in the know, the date for the next water level decrease is set for July 18th, 3 days before cars are supposed to be added. And I'm assuming the next stage has to drain quite a lot if we're expected to be driving vehicles all around the map, but those few changes at Risky Reels, it's hard to predict exactly what will happen. So make sure you stay tuned with Slurpee Swamp returning, Atlantis POI potentially even coming soon. It'll be super interesting to see how Epic fits everything together. We'll be here each and every week giving you the latest updates and map changes. But this has been Sam from Top 5 Gaming. Click on screen right now to see a secret video you've never seen before. And make sure you hit that like button with your shoe for a free online consultation. Not actually, don't expect any. Just hit the like button. And keep it right here.